In the late 1990s, war between Kosovo and Serbia was in full force. It is said that in 1999, the Serb army committed ruthless atrocities against the Kosovars, who are mainly ethnic Albanian. Ethnic cleansing took place, claiming over 11,000 lives.
Back in 1999, our daughter was over in Albania working in an orphanage. And shortly after she got there, the war broke out. And all of a sudden, refugees started flowing into her village in southern Albania. And she called back and said, "Dad, can you help us?" And I had a friend of mine call and said, "Are you going to go?" And I said, "Well, I'm just trying to raise money for my daughter." And the next day he came over and said, "We want to help raise some money so we can not only help, you can help the refugees, but send you and a team over there to do this." And that was the beginning of what I thought was one trip.
In June of 1999, with the help of NATO forces, the war came to an end. And immediately, humanitarian organizations began providing aid to rebuild war-torn Kosovo. Just a few months later, Lifetouch, a Minneapolis-based photography company, sent some of its photographers along with a short-term mission organization to assist with the efforts of rebuilding, thus bringing hope back to the people of Kosovo. Along the way, the Lifetouch volunteers had a story to share, as their lives too were affected tremendously.
If I could just bring back a part, 1/10 of the imagery that I've seen here, and just let people know that these people are just like us. They're just trying to survive, and what they've gone through trying to survive, and what they've been forced to suffer. And if I can share that with just a couple people, just to make them realize how much hurt they've been through, how much pain, that's going to be enough for me.
This whole experience has been an enlightenment for me. I see so many things now and just realize that the smallest things in life are the most precious. We, I think, lose sight of what's important in life: family, love, compassion, helping one another. I know that I'll remember everybody here forever. They've really touched my heart.
Jake, standing behind people to go overseas, challenge themselves, reach out and do things has been a trademark. But tell me about to Kosovo 13 years ago, in a war-torn at that time country. What's the motivation? Why do it? What do you see in return?
Well, back then it was very serendipitous. We got a request to help out with some film and cameras as the Kosovars were coming across the border, running from their homes, and they needed ID pictures. So we got a call, "Could you help us with cameras and film?" And we said, "Sure." So we pulled all that together. And then the request came, "What about going over with some of your people? And there's a village there that we're working in, and could you send some people over to help rebuild?" And we thought about that and how we got our company to allow people to go to an area that was kind of still in a war-torn kind of a situation was amazing, but it happened, and they went. And then we told their story to our company, and that's really what infected us, that said, boy, this serving, this coming alongside people in need is a big deal.
A big deal, you bet. Lifetouch partnered some Minneapolis-based short-term mission organizations, which gave the term serving one another substance and a new meaning.
Well, after we had been there in the beginning, another organization, World Servants, came along and said, "You've got contacts there, you have people there, we'd like to help do some mission work over there." So World Servants came with us, and they started sending teams along, and we partnered together in terms of bringing those folks over to help people in need, whether it was repairing their house or rebuilding something. And again, we saw the difference that it made is when people came over, they were amazed. They said, "You'd cross the ocean to help us." And the impact of just showing up is what really showed us something. The physical help is tremendous, but showing up is what really helped give them hope in life.
Fast forward to 2013. This is Kosovo now. Streets full of life. Busy storefronts, reminiscent of many European towns. Krista McWilliams was on that first trip way back then. And things changed so much for her that in fact, she's been back nearly every year since.
Coming to Kosovo was actually my first time to leave the United States. Really the first exposure to a significantly different culture. And once you have the opportunity to see what's going on here, it's very difficult to go back into your regular life. And you're coming into this, you've already made up your mind that whatever discomforts or whatever lack of extras here, you've already made up your mind that's a small price to pay for whatever you're able to do that changes people's lives.
The need and desire to do something good, something right, is infectious. For many volunteers, helping one another has given them a new purpose for living their lives to the fullest.
At Lifetouch, I do get the opportunity to do a lot of mission work. Most of it is documenting trips, documenting what the teams are doing at certain villages, certain homes, certain schools, and across the board, everybody says I got more out of it than I gave. And I think that's so true with doing work like this. We believe that we're going to go in and impact the kids, impact the villagers, and change some lives. But in fact, what happens is we get changed. Our lives are impacted by them because we see pride, we see energy for life, we see zest for life in a different world. And I think compassion goes both ways. We're here to maybe give a hug, but when we get that hug back, it's amazing.
Well, case in point, when you go back 12 or 13 years later, it sounds like there's some experiences there that are shared that they only relate to, just like a high school football team or something, where they know there's the inside, there's the you had to be there kind of thing. Does that come out of this?
It does, and I think it's become part of our culture. People want to be associated with companies that are that give back and that have a heart for serving.
Have an authentic heart.
Have an authentic heart, and it's being done because it feels right, and people resonate with that. It's really comforting to know, and right from the very top of our organization, there's a strong interest in us to continue this kind of activity.
It was a trip of a lifetime for me to be able to be a part of the people that were there and be a part of the Lifetouch crew that was over in Kosovo. People ask me, what was it like? You know, people ask me, I knew you were over somewhere in Eastern Europe, and I just say I literally am lost for words. It was amazing. It was really cool.
In the 12 years since I've been to Kosovo, I've always had a desire to come back. I wanted to come back from the day that I left. I think it's an incredible feeling to know that we are all one family and that we all share the same desires and wants and want to be happy, want to have fun, and to see this and to be reminded of the love and joy that children get from just having somebody that wants to be with them. You know, it's pretty amazing.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Lifetouch, photography for a lifetime.